so welcome to another episode of Year of the Empire. Shane and I just did this review for like 4 minutes straight before we realized we weren't recording. So
that's awkward.
If we're a little pissed off, that might be why. So for this week, I got to restart my timer too. We reviewed, as I've already said, but you guys did not hear, a movie called Arena from 1989. Now this movie, it doesn't really come off as like, it's definitely not a classic by Empire whatsoever.
It's not bad either.
It's not bad. It is very, it doesn't really leave an impression. You watch it, entertaining, nothing bad really about it, but it does not leave an impression. So, I've never heard of this movie beforehand. I doubt most of you guys have.
I didn't hear of it before.
Yeah, it's like Rocky, but in space.
It's got a really generic name too. So I mean, like that, like you could have came up with like such a better name,
or a more like hokey name.
Yeah, like it's like naming the Indians the Guardians. It's like it's like a retarded name that a little kid would come up with. It's like, hey, this is a fighting like movie. What should we name it? Arena.
Like Metal Storm. That is a good name.
It is a good name.
It's just it wasn't unique enough. This movie does not stand out, which is what's unfortunate. It had potential
to really stand out. Because it was like Star Wars cantina scene meets Rocky. That's essentially what it felt like. And I looked into it. It kind of reminded me of Babylon 5 or like Deep Space Nine. And oddly enough, one of the main characters in this movie is one of the main characters from Babylon 5. But this one came out first. So Babylon 5 is a copy off of Arena. And I'll stand by that. Apparently there's also an episode in Babylon 5 where there's like an illegal fighting tournament going on at the station. That's awkward.
Anyways, this movie does kind of like have some of those like vibes. Like it really does kind of feel like a 90s TV show, which isn't necessarily bad. It doesn't stand out.
A 90s TV show.
Yeah, which is not normally the best of stuff.
Where you go,
Back to what we were talking about. In Arena, the main character's name is Steve Armstrong. Really masculine name. I love how his literally has like arm in his name and he's a boxer.
I wonder if that was intentional.
Who knows? So, in this movie, he has aspirations to be a fighter, but right now he's just living on the space station doing odd jobs, and he gets picked up by one of the fight promoters to like become like a fighter there, because he like beat up some like goon or whatnot in like a restaurant or whatnot. But anyways, he eventually starts like fighting in the tournament, and this is where the movie kind of both does well, but also is where I think it lacks the most. And the word I was saying a lot in our review that what was not recording was that this movie is not too inspired when it comes to the creature designs. Now I already like showed Shane to remind him, but there's a character that Steve Armstrong fights in is called Sloth. And this guy, and I'll throw it up, he does not look like that, but really he is this like giant alien, about 5 times as tall as Steve Armstrong, multiple arms, these giant like jagged legs. It is so cool watching the thing move, and that's the only alien like that. Everything else is all like...
It's like they blew their budget on one not that important character.
Yeah, because he just fights him once, and that's it. You never see this guy again. There's no build-up. He's just an alien to fight, which is fine, but none of the other ones go above that. Everything else he fights is humanoid with like prosthetics on it. And I feel like the creatures could have been so great and memorable.
They could have.
Like that one, Sloth.
That would have made the movie a better movie.
Besides that, that's why it becomes generic. And it comes down to they didn't have time to do all this stuff, and they didn't have the budget to do it. It looks good, but it doesn't look great enough.
So it was one of those Empire. They're like, we're making another 3 movies in the next 4 weeks, so we gotta get this one done.
Yeah, that's you joke. That's exactly what
I've literally heard.
It's Charles Band.
Yeah, to be fair, a lot of their designs they come up with something that looks cool as a poster, and then they're like, we're gonna make a movie off that.
Well, that's what because like Charles Band said, what typically happens is he has a poster, and then he gives like that poster in mind, and that's what the directors and writers like base the movie off of. The poster comes first because Charles Band is always about marketing over like quality. Unfortunately. So again, this isn't a bad movie. It's basically, the guy defeats a bunch of aliens and in the end he wins. And yay, humanity. There's not much to the plot besides that. But like the alien designs look good, but not great.
Yeah, it's like the decent like prosthetics on the people, but they're all humanoid. Like
Which, you know, you could give the same argument about Star Trek and like Star Wars.
It feels a lot like Star Trek, and that's the thing. Like Star Wars, they go like. I'm talking about the movies back during this time. Like, they go ham with their creature effect because they're a movie.
Yeah.
Star Trek, especially like when you get to like Next Generation and whatnot, it's like, that's a TV budget. That's why it looks like that.
Next Generation had a bigger budget. It was able to do more like with the Klingons. And...
But there was, still, those are just like normal humanoids, just like prosthetic pasted to their head.
Yeah.
And it is like good effects, but it's not like Star Wars level effects. So for a TV, that's great. This is a movie. Was basically a TV budget, I would say. So that's why it doesn't like stand above the rest, unfortunately. Yeah. But the plot was interesting. The plot had a lot of
potential.
It could have been great, but it was just good.
Especially with like Rocky movies out and stuff, like it could have latched onto that.
It was tapping into something.
Which I'm sure that was the point.
And the thing is, maybe like I'm not saying like the acting was like phenomenal or like what they did was the story was amazing. Because if you look at Rocky, that doesn't have all these giant creature effects, obviously. But the story was so engaging and it was like unique. This one felt almost run-of-the-mill with some unique stuff thrown in there that, again, it's good, but not great. And it could have been. Like, an engaging plot would have went totally... I wouldn't have even considered like the creature effects being subpar.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, there's not much to say about this movie. And... It is a unique one because this was pretty much near the end of Empires. This is when they might have even gone under at this point when it came out, and it might have came out at a different company. I can't remember, but it was being made when Charles Band was seeing the end of Empire Pictures. So that might be half the reason why it was just kind of like
that makes sense.
And you'll be seeing was our future reviews of the next like 2 to 3 movies. These are movies near the end of near the end of Empire's heyday, and they're not making the money they did back when they were having Re-Animator and Ghoulies and whatnot. So good movie, not a lot I can recommend for it.
I'd watch it again.
Yeah, I would watch it again.
Potential was missed, but I'd watch it again.
It's just I wouldn't like ask anyone to seek this out. Like, even if you're a boxing fan, there's not a lot there for you to
just watch Rocky again.
Yeah, just watch it. Or Rocky 4.
Or 5.
Or 3.
Or, like Creed, because they won't stop making movies.
Third one's coming out soon.
Oh, I thought they were done.
No. They won't stop making movies.
That's awkward.
But don't watch Rocky 2, because apparently we don't like that one, because we didn't mention it.
No. Rocky 2 is just a continuation of Rocky.
It is.
I think it's just I look at it as part 1 and part 2.
Alright, then don't watch Rocky Balboa. Because once you added his last name to it, it just...
I wasn't a fan of that movie.
No.
This is a Rocky review now.
Yeah, this is a Rocky review now. So, the first movie was made by John G. Avildsen, which I actually don't know if that's true or not. I'm just pulling that out of nowhere. I think it is. I think I'm right, but I might be totally wrong, because I might be mixing it up with Karate Kid. Or maybe that was the same guy. You know what? None of this is relevant to Arena. It's alright. If you want to seek out...
If you have it, watch it.
But if not, don't seek it out.
It's not the type of movie you're going to find at like one of those like half-price movie stores, probably.
Unfortunately.
So you almost have to seek it out, I feel like.
Yeah. And it's not entirely worth it. But you can probably look up that scene, and I'll even link to it, with that creature's floss fighting the guy. It's not like super interesting because the creature isn't as articulate as it could be. Yeah, he wears a pirate hat.
Gets on a sail and just cuts it. I think I'm talking about the wrong movie.
No, I'm pretty sure we're talking about Arena still.
Okay.
So, very entertaining. And then Jack Sparrow comes out of nowhere, and he's drunk, obviously. It's a good movie, but it's not. It's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. I don't know why we brought up like 8 other movies.
I don't know why. Now we got to review Pirates of the Caribbean, and all of the Rockies apparently need to be reviewed.
And Karate Kid.
Yeah, and Karate Kid. I threw that one in there.
Not the one with
Jaden Smith. Yeah. So don't worry. Tune in next week, and we'll be reviewing Cobra Kai just for you guys.
Oh God! Now we have to.
This review got away from us.
It did.